ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਕਹਾ ਬੁੱਧ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਤੁਛ ਹਮਾਰੀ, ਬਰ ਨ ਸਕੈ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਜੋ ਤਹਾਰੀ। ਹਮ ਨ ਸਕਤ ਕਰ ਸਿਫਤ ਤੁਮਾਰੀ, ਆਪ ਲੇਹੋ ਤੁਮ ਕਥਾ ਸੁਧਾਰੀ। ਮੂਕ ਉਚਰੈ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਖਟ, ਪਿੰਗ ਗਿਰਨ ਚੜ ਜਾਏ। ਅੰਧ ਲਖੈ ਬਦਰੋ ਸੁਨੈ, ਜੋ ਕਾਲ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਾਏ। ਡੰਡੌਤ ਬੰਦਨ ਅਨਕ ਬਾਰ, ਸਰਬ ਕਲਾ ਸਮਰਥ। ਡੋਲਨ ਤੇ ਰਾਖੋ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ, ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਕਰ ਹੱਥ। ਜੀ ਜੰਤ ਸਭ ਸਰਨ ਤੁਮਾਰੀ, ਸਰਬ ਚਿੰਤ ਤੁਧ ਪਾਸੇ। ਜੋ ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵੇ ਸੋਈ ਚੰਗਾ, ਇਕ ਨਾਨਕ ਕੀ ਅਰਦਾਸੇ। ਸੋ ਕਹੋ ਟਲ ਗੁਰ ਸੇਵੀਐ, ਅਹਨਿਸ ਸਹਿਜ ਸੁਭਾਏ। ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਪਰਸਿਐ ਗੁਰੂ ਕੈ, ਜਨਮ ਮਰਨ ਦੁਖ ਜਾਏ। ਹੋਵੇ ਸਿਫਤ ਕਸਮ ਦੀ, ਨੂਰ ਅਰਸੋਹ ਕੁਰਸੋਹ ਝਾਟੀਐ। ਤੁਧ ਡਿਠੇ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, ਮਲ ਜਨਮ ਜਨਮ ਦੀ ਕੱਟੀਐ। ਤੁਧ ਡਿਠੇ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ, ਮਲ ਜਨਮ ਜਨਮ ਦੀ ਕੱਟੀਐ।
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਜਿਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੋ ਮੰਨਣਾ, ਕੋ ਸਾਲ ਜਿਵਾਹੇ ਸਾਲੀ। ਧਰਮ ਰਾਏ ਹੈ ਦੇਵਤਾ, ਲੈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੇ ਦਲਾਲੀ। ਜਿਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੋ ਮੰਨਣਾ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਪਰਮ ਸਤਿਕਾਰਯੋਗ ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕੇ ਅਤਿਅੰਤ ਵੱਡੇ ਭਾਗ ਹਨ ਜੋ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਅਮੋਲਕ ਘੜੀਆ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੇ ਹਨ। ਸਤ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੀ ਘੜੀਆ। Very blessed to join in the court of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji. When we say darbar, when we say hazuri, what is the meaning of that? It means jithe Maharaj Ji hazir han, where the Guru is present themselves. So to be here in the presence of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji, physically or spiritually with our Guru, we're very blessed to have these moments where we can learn about this Naam Rupi Katha. Sun Har Katha Atari Mel, by listening to this Katha, that all of our pains are taken away, all that mel is taken, all that dukh is taken away, all that pain inside us is taken away by listening to Vaheguru Ji's Katha. Ek baar je tumhe sambara, kaal faaste tahyo baar. Ek baar, if for just one moment, ek baar je tumhe sambara, if I'm able to experience you, if I'm able to connect to you, Vaheguru Ji, for just even one moment, kaal faaste tahyo baar, and that fahi of death, that noose of death will be cut away, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says to us. So this Katha of Ramkali ki Vaar, written by Satta Ji and by Balwand Ji, we're now going through the third Pauri. The third Pauri, the third stanza in this Bani. Just a recap from the last Katha, that when they spoke about the praises of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji and Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji in the Duji Pauri. And they talked about many concepts that Langar Chale Guru Sabad, which will be a theme that comes in this Katha today as well. About during Guru Sahib Ji's time, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji's time, Langar continued. From Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, Langar was set up over 500 years ago, from just 20 rupiah, from 20 coins. And now Guru Angad Dev Ji's continued that Langar. Langar challe Guru Sabad, Pave Partak Langar. Jo an pani da Langar hai, Sahib Singh Ji, Langar of food and water is being given out, but also the Langar of Guru Shabad, of Naam. Naam Rupi Langar. That this Naam, this Langar, this giving out of God's name, serving God's name to everybody. That have this as well to eat. Have God's name and put this inside and taste that Amrit. Te Sahib Singh Ji, if we just look in Gurbani, Guru Maharaj Ji says to us, Thale vich te vastu paiyo. ਹਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਭੋਜਨ ਨਾਮ ਜਿਤ ਖਾਧੈ ਮਨ ਤ੍ਰਿਪਤੀਐ ਪਾਈਏ ਮੋਖ ਦਵਾਰ ਇਹ ਭੋਜਨ ਅਲੱਭ ਹੈ ਸੰਤ ਹੋ ਲੱਭੇ ਗੁਰ ਵਿਚਾਰ. Gurbani is very similar to the Mandavani that we hear, thal vich tin vastu payo. They're saying here ke thale vich vinda thale vich te vastu payo. That within that plate there's 3 items. Sat santok vichar, those 3 items are truth, contentment and contemplation on the divine. Jit har amrit pojana naam. And this is the food of God. Har amrit pojana naam, this name of God is the food of God. This is what Guru Sahib Ji eats themselves. This is what the Guru Sikhs eat. Sat Santok Vichar. This is what they partake in. Jitta Khadde, the ones who eat this, Manatripiti hai. Their mind gains complete peace, Santok, complete oneness and contentment. Jitta Khadde Manatripiti hai. Paye Mokh Dwar. Mokh Dwar means the door of liberation. They gain that. Then they say, Eho Pojan Alabbe hai Santoho. Ke hey Santoho. Look how Guru Sahib Ji Gurbani refers to their Sikhs, the ones who read this Bani. They say you're all saints, which is a very interesting vichar, meaning that technically, or we have the potential to all be saints. Santoho. They're saying, oh saints of this world, eho pojan alab hai. Alab means duralab, very hard to gain. Eho pojan alab hai santoho labbe guru vichar. How is it gained? Through vichar on the Guru. By contemplating the Guru. It doesn't mean just to think, it means to act upon as well. Guru ki seva sabad vichar, that by, if you want to serve the Guru, then vichar Gurbani, contemplate upon Gurbani. So, vichar means to do seva. Or if you look in Japji Sahib, Amrit Vela Satchanao Vadiyai Vichar. Vichar comes there again, and here they're talking about Simran. So, seva and Simran, by partaking in these things, by doing seva and Simran, we are truly doing vichar, because we've taken what the Guru has said and we've applied that into our lives. So in today's Katha, we'll continue that vichar on Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. Now Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji being the Guru, what has Guru Angad Dev Ji set up at that time? So before we go for this Katha, let's focus our minds on the charan of Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. Ate sari sangat aakho Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji.
Jin Kiti so Mannana.
So Sasanga Ji Jin Kiti. So Kiti hai mean Gal Kiti. That whatever Maharaj Ji has said, jo Maharaj Ji ne bachan kite han, the bachans of Guru Sahib Ji Jin Kiti so Mandana. We should accept those. Mandana hai means to accept. So very simply, one arth hai is that whatever God says, we should accept. Whatever Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, we should accept. Whatever Guru Angad Dev Ji says, we should accept. And here another arth got even deeper is Jinakiti. That what God said about Guru Angad Dev Ji, what God has said about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, what Guru Nanak Dev Ji said about Guru Angad Dev Ji, so mandana. What did Guru Nanak Dev Ji say? That Guru Angad Dev Ji is my surup. They are my form. So everybody should accept this as well. So Jinakiti. That bachan that Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave, that Guru Angad Dev Ji is my own form, so mandana. Mandana means to accept. And even deeper, whatever Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, Jinakiti, so Mandana, Guru Angad Dev Ji accepted that. They always accepted the words of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, Jo Guru kahe, soi pala mano ho. Jo bhi Maharaj Ji kende han, whatever Guru Sahib Ji says, that is pala, that is great, that is the complete truth, Hanji.
Ko saal jivahe sali. So
ko ate saal. Ko the matlab hai, kehera. Saal means uttam hai. Ke kehra uttam hai? Who is greater? Jevahe ja sali. Sali he means chaula, pave chitte chaul. Te jevahe means jevaha, which means, if you look at the English translations, it translates to thistle and to rice. So saying kera uttam hai, what is greater, the rice or the thistle? Now if you look at the qualities of both these types of grains or these plants, when you grow them, if you go to India and you see how chaul is made, how rice is made, it's a khet, a land completely drenched in water, flooded in water, and the rice is underneath that water. It's on a very low land and it grows there. So what is the meaning? It's very humble, it's very low. When you look at the jevaha, when you look at this thistle, it grows on very high land. On the river banks, they said that the mitti, the dirt pushes up, and that plant goes very high. and all the land around it becomes very dry. The ground is very hard as well. The mitti, the dirt is very hard at that time, so it grows on a very high level. So they're saying, what is greater, the rice or the thistle? Here is the rice because it's more humble. Just like how Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj is just like the sali, like the chola, the chitte chaul, that they're pure, they're white in terms of purity here, but also they're very humble, they're very low. And Guru Sahib Ji's sons, Baba Siri Chand Ji, Baba Lakshmi Das Ji, were filled with this hankar. They filled this pride that we are the sons of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, we don't need to do seva. So that is the first artha. If you look at the second meaning to this as well, ko sal jivahe sali, jivahe ki mean jehre, ke jere gura de anusari han, anusari he means sali, te ko sal he means be anusari. Anusari the matlab hai to follow, nidyasan karna, to follow what the Guru is saying, to act upon it. That who was the one who followed the Guru and who's the one that didn't follow the Guru, mean that Guru Angad Dev Ji accepted their words. Janakiti so mandana, they accepted the words of Vaheguru Ji and they were anusari. They always followed the words of the Guru, but the sons of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj were be anusari. They did not follow what Guru Sahib Ji told them to do. They didn't follow the words of Guru Maharaj Ji at that time. Hanji.
ਧਰਮ ਰਾਏ ਹੈ ਦੇਵਤਾ
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਧਰਮ ਰਾਏ ਦੇਵਤਾ ਹੈ, ਹਾਂਜੀ.
ਲੈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੇ ਦਲਾਲੀ.
So if you don't know who Dharam Rai is, Dharam Raja, Dharam here means righteousness, Rai means king, Raja, or the judge of righteousness, the king of righteousness, Dharam Rai. Seen as a devta, one of, you could say, like God's puppets, right? Somebody that works under Vaheguru Ji. And what do? They judge us upon our actions, about how much righteousness we've done in our lives. So Dharam Rai hai devata, hanji.
ਲੈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੇ ਦਲਾਲੀ.
Le Galla. And what they do is they take the words of truth, they take the words of Dharam from, you could say, from the consciousness and the unconsciousness, or from Guru Sahib Ji's hukam. Meaning that in this life we've come here to earn God's name. We've come here to do righteous actions, and to say, okay, what does Dharam Maharaj do? He looks at all these actions and then kare dalali. Dalali means nyay karda hai. Nyay he means to give his justice. That Dharam Raja, he looks at all the actions that people have done and then he makes his decision on whether this person should go to Vaheguru Ji, this person should go through to heaven or to Sachkhand, or if they should come back to earth or go to hell. That is what they're saying about Dharam Raj. But if you look at the deeper meaning to this, what they're saying here is that Guru Angad Dev Ji is Dharam Raj for us. We don't need to worry about this. People say, why are you talking about Dharam Raja, etc., etc. But Gurbani is made clear that Dharam Raja does exist. But for Sikh, who is our king of Dharam? It's Guru Angad Dev Ji. They are the master of all righteousness. Guru Angad Dev Ji is the king of kings of all the Devi Devta, of every single being. Guru Angad Dev Ji is Vaheguru Ji. So Dharam Rai hai Devta le galla kare dalali le galla, and they listen to the words of their Sikhs, of their Guru Sikhs, of their children of this world, and kare dalali, and they decide whether this child should meet Vaheguru Ji or not, whether they've done the righteous actions. So Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji is always with their Sikh at all times. Even at the last moment when we leave this body, even Guru Angad Dev Ji is there to take care of their Sikhs. Ape Gur, Chela hai Ape. Ape Gur, the Guru is the Guru. Ape Gur, Chela hai Ape. They're the Chela as well, they're the Sikh as well. Ape Dase Kaat, they are also the destination. Guru Sahib Ji is everywhere. Jana Nanak Naam Tyai Tu. They say Jana Nanak, Maharaj Ji is saying just Jana Nanak Naam Tyai Tu. If you say God's name, if you focus on God's name, Sabha Kile Vikha Kaat Suddha. They say all your Kile Vik Pap, all your sins will be taken away if you say God's name as well. So for us, we go to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, we come to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, say Maharaj Ji Kirpa Karo, ate Milap Baksho Vaheguru Ji Dana. Bless us to meet Vaheguru Ji, and Guru Sahib Ji Kare Dalali. Guru Sahib Ji sees how we lived our lives. Have we lived up to the words of Guru Sahib Ji? Hanji.
Satgur aakha sacha kare.
And if Guru Sahib Ji says that this person is Sacha, if Guru Sahib Ji gives their confirmation, if they say this person is Sacha, Satgur aakha, if they say that Sacha kare, if they say this person is the truth, Hanji.
Sa baat hove darhali.
Sa baat, ohi gal. Wherever the Guru says that gal, what they say, those words that Guru Sahib Ji says, they say Dwara Paro Ji.
Sa baat hove darhali.
Darhali he means turant hi. Deri to bina. Without any delay, that person is given mukti straight away. That person doesn't have to wait. If Guru Sahib Ji says that that person is true, then that person goes through. So Dharam Raj cannot say anything to Guru Maharaj Ji. If Guru Sahib Ji says that that is the person is my Sikh, then they go straight through. And Gurbani says this as well. Jin ko kripa kari jag jeevan. Jin ko kripa kari jag jeevan. That if Guru Sahib Ji gives their blessings upon that person, har orataryo har naam. And if they har orataryo manamaja. Har means God's name, orataryo in our hearts, manamaja. If we accept God's name inside our heart, then Guru Sahib Ji says, Ke Taramaraj dar kagad phare. Now Taramaraj, in his darbar, kagad phare, he cuts that paper. He rips that lekha up. He rips up our papers of all the actions that we've done, because Guru Sahib Ji said that they are satcha kare, they are the truth. Taramaraj dar kagad phare, jana nanak lekha samaja. And that lekha is completely resolved. Lekha koi na puche. No one asks for lekha, because Guru Angad Dev Ji, Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh says, that is my Khalsa, that is my Sikh. They are mine. So you can't do nothing to them. They've been given the nishani of the Guru. They've got the stamp of the Guru, got the more of the Guru. That's why we say more here means the stamp. That's why we keep kiss, because this is the stamp of the Guru. That is saying that is a nishani of my Guru, the Sikh. That is mine. So here Guru says, explain to us that Taramaraj dar kagad phare, that Taramaraj has to rip up that lekha. No matter what we've done in our lives, is not seen. Satguru mera taak liya, that my Guru is taking care of all my affairs. They've covered me. They've covered all my faults, Hanji.
Gur Angad di dohi phiri.
Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji di soba, the greatness of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji sare paase phail gayi, Hanji.
Sach karta band bahali.
Sach karta hai means sacha kartar. Why Guru Ji themselves has given this maryada, has given this riti, this tradition also to Guru Sahib Ji. So Maharaj Ji here is saying ke Hanji dwara paro ji.
Gur Angad di dohi phiri.
So Hanji, so Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Vadiya is spreading everywhere, Hanji.
Sach karta band bahali.
So band bahali, that maryada that Vaig Ji set up here, they said that maryada Maharaj Ji's made it pakki. They've qaim kar ditti. They've made it complete. They've established this is the complete truth, and they've confirmed this, that Guru Angad Dev Ji now is the second form of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, and they say, and they have that same maryada, that same way of living their lives. Now what does maryada mean? First of all, mar yada, yad karna, to remember that one day we're going to die. That every day we should know that actually this could be my last day, and how should we live our life then? What should be our maryada? What should we remember all the time? Har kirata hamari rehras. Rehras means maryada as well. That what is my maryada? What is the way I should live my life? Har kirat. That every single moment in my life that I should praise Vaheguru Ji. And this is exactly what Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji did, that they praised Vaheguru Ji and they taught us how to praise Vaheguru Ji for our lives as well, Hanji.
Nanak kaya palat kar.
Hanji, so just like we said, that same maryada has been passed on. Why? Because Nanak, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, kaya means sarir, palat kar, badal deta hai. All they did was change their body. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji is Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. The body may look different, but Jot Oha Jugat Sai. Like we said before, Ohi Jot hai, Ohi Jugti hai. Pave Prema Bhakti Jugti hai, Hanji.
Mal takht baitha seh dali.
The body may have changed, but the light is the same. The teachings are the same. The devotion is the same. How we can meet Vaheguru Ji, it's all the same. And here they say to us, Ke mal takht baitha seh dali. That Maharaj Ji is sitting on that takht, Guru Angad Dev Ji is sitting on that throne. Mal isthit hoke, they're sitting there firmly. Seh dali. Seh means Sankara Pave Sau. 100. Dali means Dahlia. Hundreds of branches that from Guru Angad Dev Ji, all these branches are coming off. Guru Angad Dev Ji is like a beautiful, beautiful tree which has fruits, has beautiful flowers on it, and all these branches are reaching out to the Sangat and they're giving the divine qualities to all the Sangat. Sata Santokha, Daya Taramatiraj, Opekya, Maitri, Modata, Karna. All these qualities we talked about in the first Katha, when we said De Guna Satapan Paravahe Parangat Dana Parivade, these qualities of truth, of contentment, of righteousness, of compassion, of when you see somebody else, you're so happy for them. If they do better than you in life, you say, I want them to do even better than me. I want them to be much greater than me, and you push them in a positive mindset, to have no jealousy, to see everybody as your friends and see nobody as an enemy or as a stranger. These qualities are given to the Sangat. When we sit in Guru Sahib Sangat, we may come there thinking, I'm so hideous. Not physically, spiritually inside, I'm so ugly, I'm so hideous. My whole life I've been just earning this dirt. But Maharaji, you make us divine. Balahari Gur Apne, Deohari Sadavar. Jin Manaste Devte Kiye, Kartna Lagi Var. They said, I must sacrifice my Guru because in a moment they can make me into a divine being. Kartna Lagi Var. It doesn't take that long. Just by sitting here, our lives can change in an instant. Just by being in the sharan of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaji, Takht Baitha said Dali, all these beautiful branches are coming off and Guru Sahib is embracing the Guru Sikhs. Hanji.
Dar seve ummat khadi.
Te Sahib Singh Ji at that dar, us darwaje te ja darbar sahib de vich. In that at that door inside that darbar of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, who is there? Ummat. Ummat hai means Uttama Jan. Shrestha Jan, those supreme beings who do seva. Savdan hoke, Savdan he means ready upon ready, tiyar bar tiyar. They are standing at the door of Guru Angad Dev Ji. They come inside the home of Guru Angad Dev Ji and they do Guru Sahib Ji seva. Now seva means to serve nishkam seva, to serve with no desires. And it's if we serve Guru Angad Dev Ji like these Guru Sikhs did, just like how Guru Angad Dev Ji served Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So you can even use this arth for Guru Angad Dev Ji, just like how Guru Angad Dev Ji served Guru Nanak Dev Ji, but for us, just like those Guru Sikhs who served Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj.
Masakalla hoye jangali.
So jangali hai means jangal. Jangal means vast. So jo sadi jangali hoyi mat hai, buddhi hai. Our mind is vasti as well. Our mind is filled with mel. Our mind is filled with dirt. And Guru Sahib Ji, he is saying maskalle. Maskalle hai means manjna. It means like jodasi pande manjde. When we wash the pande in the Guru's home and we wash those pande and we scrub them really hard, manjna, to get all of the stains off that panda, to make it nice and shiny for the next Guru Sikh to eat from that thali. And here Guru Sahib is saying, just like how we may manj the iron, we may scrub the iron to get all the rust off it, in the same way we've got to clean this mind as well. We have to clean this mind as well. And when we do seva of Guru Sahib Ji, what did they say it's like? They say, Jo Papa Rupi Jangal hai Sasing, that pop inside us, that's like the Jangal, that's like the rust. They say that what's happening, that is being rubbed at that time. It is being cleaned off us. Pariye Mata Papa ke Sanga Oho Tope Nave ke Rang. How do we wash it? We wash it with the name of God and we put our effort in as well. So manjna, you can't just rub it very softly, you got to put our effort into it, but we have to have God's name on our tongue at the same time. So they're saying here कि जो पापा रूपी जंगाल दा manjna हो रहा है साध संगत जी, कि at this time they're removing all that pap inside us. By doing this manjna हो रहा है साध संगत जी, Guru Sahib Ji de seva करके हाँ जी.
Daridra ves khasamda.
There's Saad Sangat Ji, there's not just only these Guru Sikhs who are doing seva at the door of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. Dar vesa. Dar hai means darwaja again, ja darbar sahib de vich pravesh hoke, going inside Guru Sahib Ji darbar. Darvesh hai means darvesh, those great saints, those great souls who are doing seva of Guru Sahib Ji. Hanji dwara paro ji.
Dar ves khasamda.
Where they're doing this seva in Guru Angad Dev Ji's home, in the home of God. Hanji.
Nai sacha Bani lali.
Te nai sache, osa sacha naam, ja sachi Bani. Sarvan karke, ja parke, by reading the name of God, by reciting God's name, by listening to God's name, they say what happens? Lali. Ke prem di lali chad jandi hai us chehre te Saad Sangat Ji, on their face, they say that prem di lali. That their face becomes crimson red. Just by serving Guru Sahib Ji, by reading God's name, by reciting God's name, by singing God's name, by remembering God's name, by reading Gurbani, they say this lali, this crimson red comes in his face, this love appears on their face. Just like in Gurbani says to us, Soy sunandari mera tan man maula. Soy he means soba, ke Maharaj Ji aap ji di soba sun ke, by listening to your soba, soy sunandari mera tan man maula. Mera tan man hariya ho janda hai Maharaj Ji. My mind and my body becomes completely, it blossoms. Hariya ho janda hai means it blossoms completely. Naam japandari lali. ਤੇ Maharaj Ji ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਜਪ ਕੇ, they say by saying your God's name, that love comes to my face. ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਰੂਪੀ ਲਾਲੀ ਹੈ Maharaj Ji, that love of that red crimson color comes to my face, ਚੜ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ on my face, ਉਸ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਸ on that face of that Gurusik, they become lali as well. So ਨਾਮ ਜਪੰਦਰੀ ਲਾਲੀ, ਪੰਧ ਜੁਲੰਦਰੀ, ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਠੰਡਾ. ਪੰਧ ਹੈ means ਰਸਤੇ ਤੇ, ਰਾਹ ਤੇ. Whoever walks in the path of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, on the path of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, ਜੋ ਤੋ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਖੇਲਣ ਕਾ ਚਾਉ, ਸਿਰ ਧਰ ਤਲੀ ਗਲੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਆਉ. So whoever walks in that path of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the path of love, they say ਪੰਧ ਜੁਲੰਦਰੀ. To walk upon that path, ਮੇਰਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਠੰਡਾ. That inside me, I get this ਸੀਤਲਤਾ, I get this coolness. ਗੁਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖ ਨਹਾਲੀ, ਤੇ ਤਨ ਸਿੱਧ ਗੁਰੂ ਅੰਗਦ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਕੇ, by having darshan of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, what happens is say that inside I start to blossom as well. They say that my heart, my hirda, ਜੋ ਮਨ ਰੂਪੀ ਹਿਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਸਾਸ ਜੋ ਖਿੜ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, it starts to blossom, just like how a lotus flower blossoms when it sees the sun. When I see my Guru, I start to blossom in the inside as well. I start to get a warm feeling inside me. That feeling of anand, of bliss, like when we see somebody that we love so much and the emotions we feel inside us, we cannot explain them. Imagine having that emotion for Guru Sahib Ji, our true love, that we start to blossom in the inside. Imagine we haven't seen Guru Sahib Ji for a long time. Just like in Guru Sahib Ji Summer today, we talk about how hard times can be. Not having darshan of Guru Sahib Ji every day. In 300 years ago, there wasn't many swarups of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. How lucky would somebody have to be to have darshan of Guru Sahib Ji in the physical form? If Guru Sahib Ji was in Sri Patna Sahib, which is in the east of India, and you're living on the west of India, you're living on the other side of India, how are you ever going to see the Guru? So imagine that moment when they got to see Guru Sahib Ji. Imagine how they must have felt inside. These panktiya, this soy sanandir miratana mana maula, they are read when we do prakash of Guru Sahib Ji. When we take a hukanama Sahib and we remove the Ramallah Sahibs. We remove the Palak Sahibs from Maharaj Ji as well. What is this showing us? The avastha of the Guru Sikh. The levels they have reached, that by saying God's name, that they are imbued in God's love. Hanji.
ਬਲਵੰਡ ਖੀਵੀ ਨੇਕ ਜਨ.
So ਜੋ Pai Balwand Ji Hansa Singh Ji, so there's Pai Balwand Ji, Pai Satta Ji, who are reciting this Bani to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. They say Pai Balwand Ji here says, Khivi Nek Jan, jo Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji de Mahal had, the wife of Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji's Mata Khivi Ji. So in Gurbani you will find mentions of some of the key figures in the Guru's home are female figures like Mata Khivi Ji. Say Balwand Khivi Nek Jan. Nek Jan means that they're a very virtuous person, Mata Khivi Ji. They have all these good we talked about with the branches reach out, about having no jealousy, or seeing everybody as their own children. That not these are mine and you're a stranger, that everybody is them. All those qualities we talked about of truth, of contentment, Mata Khivi Ji has all those qualities, Hanji.
Jis bahoti chhao patrali.
So patrali here means patra pave, leaves. They said just like how you have a tree that is filled with so many leaves, that is just like Mata Khivi Ji, just a bahoti, so much. Just a bahoti, chhao patrali, chhao here means shade. Just like how a tree, when it's so hot and there's a summer, and we sit under a tree and that shade keeps us cool. They say Mataji is so cool in the inside that when Mataji does seva, she's never burning in the desires of the world. That she's only doing seva out of love for the Guru, and she's Shanta Suru. What is the meaning of a saint? A saint is somebody who is Santa, 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 the one who has complete Shanti inside them. And Mata Khivi Ji is completely filled with Shanti, Sahaj Sabhai Devit Sas, in this complete state of oneness and doing seva and complete peace. And whoever comes to Mata Khivi Ji, they gain that peace as well. Kam Krodha Nagar Bohaparya. That my body is filled, this Nagar, this city of this body, is filled with desires, it's filled with lust, it's filled with anger, and it's burning in these things. I am burning in lust of this world, I am burning in anger of this world. But they say Mila Sadhu, that when you meet a true saint, when you meet somebody like Mata Khivi Ji, Mila Sadhu Khandala Khanda hai, then all of that Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mahankar, it is all destroyed just by being in the presence of Mata Khivi Ji. Not even speaking to them. You meet such saints in your life that if they just look at you, your whole life can change. They don't even have to speak to you. That is a Shakti in the eyes, that these great Mahapurushas have come in this life, these great saints, or whether you call them a Guru Sikh, the children of God, the ones who become one with God, Daradaravais, who have been to the home of God, who have sat in the home of God, who have served in the home of God, who have said God's name, who have made God's name part of their life. They say that those people, if you're in their sangat, in their company, then just when they look at you, they can change your life. They can say one word to you, take Amrit, be blessed with Amrit, keep your case, say God's name, and you start saying God's name. An armed person can just say to somebody, recite God's name, and nothing happens. But these beings, when they say Naam Japo, then you start to jap Naam. Because they have that kamai. They're oozy with kamai, that when they say God's name, when they say to somebody, say God's name, that kamai just falls upon them. Such beings that Mata Kiviji, Haji.
Langar daulat vandiya.
This Singh ji, like we said before, this Partak Langar. This langar is being served to everybody of this food, of Anpanida Langar. The langar daulat vandi hai. The Singh ji, Mata Kiviji will give out this langar, but also they give out tan daulat. They give out wealth. So in Guru Angad Dev Ji's home, what is written about Guru Angad Dev Ji is that Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji would not just have so much petava coming in, so much wealth coming in. Guru Angad Dev Ji spend it all on the langar. They'll spend it where they need to spend it, and the rest of the money that was left over, all that extra money was given out to the Garib, to all the poor people. So langar daulat vandi hai, that tana daulat Mataji aap vandi jari hai, she's giving it out to all the Sangh Mata Kivi Ji themselves, and the money is not just sitting there. They haven't got like a building fund. They're just building up. They're spending up. There's nothing wrong with having a building fund if you need to build a building, but we've got enough buildings now. But even then they give all the money. There was no worry at that time. And Pandit Hardyaji speaks about this as well, and it talked us about water, flowing water. They say, Jo jala sarak hai, Jo jala sarako, that water in a sarovar, ja tala de vich. That water that is in a lake, that water that is in a sarovar. Jo jala sarako, suke sarame. They say that water that doesn't flow, just jera pani nahi vagda hai, that pani that doesn't flow. They say that pani suke hai means suk janda hai, it begins to dry up. If water does not flow and it sits there like a puddle, it's going to dry up, it's not going to go anywhere. And then they say Vaar krima hoye, and that water, krima means shote jeev. The little insects start to go in that water and reside in that water as well. And when water is infested by insects, that water can start to have diseases within that water as well. Say Vaar krima hoye, va swad bilai. And they say the swad, the taste of that water, bilai means khatam ho janda hai, it loses its taste, it becomes very bitter, that water. So that water that does not flow, Sahal Sangat Ji, it becomes dry, it loses its water, but so it loses water and it loses its taste and it starts to bear diseases, pain. That's water that sits still. But then they say about that flowing water, they say na suke, it does not dry up. That water that is always flowing, jo nadi da pani hai, the water of a river for example, that is always flowing. So they say na krima suke na. They say that water has no insects, that water does not dry up, because jal paravaha, it means that the water is always flowing. That water is always flowing, so that water cannot ever dry up, and that water never has insects in it as well. And they say subaga subad, and it tastes so nice. That water is so sweet. Teo he means tive. Teo artha sabai. In the same way, that's like how money works as well. If money sits still, if we just keep building this pile of money up, what happens? Eventually that money will dissipate itself. Why? Because when there's a lot of money, a lot of pain comes with it as well. That we're so worried about, we need to take care of this money, and it leads to diseases. How? Because we get ill over that money. We're so worried about that money, we don't want to share that money with anybody. And it doesn't taste nice. You can ask many people, look at all the celebrities in this world that have become billionaires, and they have depression, and they have all these issues in their lives. Well, I'm not picking on celebrities here, nobody wants pain for anyone, but just because your bank account has more zeros in it, it doesn't mean that you're going to have more happiness. But Guru Sahib Ji is saying that that money that's always flowing, that money is always sweet, and that money also gives us, it doesn't give us pain. It only gives other people happiness and sukh. And one example of this a great saint called Baba Jeet Singh Ji, who's came on this earth in Pratapara Pind, which is in India, Punjab. When they were in a asthan called Blandpuri Sahib, Baba Ji, when they were staying there, they would just live in like a tent, for example. And when Baba Ji was there at that time, this fakir came to this saint, came to them, and they had these ripped clothes, a ripped chola. So Baba Ji de paas aake benti karde ne Baba Ji nu ke Baba Ji, can you give me a chola? They do this humble plea, can you give me a new chola because my clothes are ripped? And Baba Jeet Singh Ji this time only had one chola, only one like a dress, and that was the one that they were wearing. So Baba Ji says to them, the one that I am wearing is the only one that I have. Here, take this. So Baba Ji even gave the clothes off their back to them. And the fakir says, what are you gonna wear? And Baba Ji says that nothing in this world belongs to me. So imagine having that kind of vichar, that look, whatever I have, I'll give it to others, I'll serve them, have enough just to live off, but whatever's left, that's all Vaiguruji's. So Baba Ji is at such an avastha where they give everything to Vaiguruji. And they said, you could take this chola as well, Vaiguruji take care of me. And Baba Ji sat there with no chola on now. And then a few days later, somebody came at that time and they gave Baba Ji a new chola. They donated a chola to Baba Ji, and Baba Ji laughed and said, look, Vaiguruji always takes care of their servants. Right, so the point is that there's many examples in Itihas where you can find that they let money just keep flowing. When Sant Guru Gurbani Singh Ji would go and travel with the Singhs at that time, they would spend their money. They wouldn't keep the money to themselves. They keep letting it flow. If at one point when one of the Guru Sikhs, they painted that the roof of this Guru card is completely ruined and there's water leaking in, Sant Ji would spend all that money fixing that roof. They would spend money on the poti sides for the Singhs, for Langar di Seva. When they'd go to an asthan like one of the Panch Tak Sahibs, the 5 pillars, the 5 main asthans, you could say in one respect, in Sikhi, whether that's Sri Harmandir Sahib, Sri Akal Takht Sahib, Sri Harmandir Sahib, Sri Patna Sahib, whether that's Sri Hazur Sahib, whether that's Sri Damdama Sahib, whether that's Sri Keskar Sahib. When Sant Ji would go, they spend so much money on Kara Prashadi Deg. Right? Not just like 5 rupees or 50 rupees, thousands of rupees just on Kara Prashadi Deg, and the Singhs would do the seva themselves. Meaning that money was always flowing. They never had to worry about money because money kept on coming and coming. Money was chasing them. Maya, the Lakshmi, wealth was running behind those Guru Sikhs. But the Guru Sikhs just kept walking forward and they kept following them. So there was no worry. Lakshmi tot na aave, khai kharachara handa hanji.
Ras amrit kheer kyali.
They saw singing that amrit ras kheer. That kheer tastes like amrit. It was so sweet that was being served in the home of Guru Angad Dev Ji in the langar of Mata Khiviji. Mata Khiviji would run the langar at that time. Ras amrit kheer kyali. That it was so sweet. What was in that kheer? There was ras, it was so sweet, it tasted amrit, and there was kyo in it as well. Kya lihe means kyo, butter. So Sahaj Singh Ji, now there's a lot of dairy there, for example, right? You've got the kheer, which has milk in it. You've got the kyo, which is basic butter, milk. But at the time of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, a lot of farmers came to Guru Sahib Ji, and they did a humble plea that our Pashua, our cattle are getting very ill. So what can we do, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji? The Maharaj Ji said, you should donate some of your milk to the Guru's home. And they said to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji, Maharaj Ji will give you half the milk that we gain. So all the milk that we gain from the cattle, whether it's the cows or the buffaloes, we'll give you half of that milk. And then with that half milk they'll give, so they kept half milk themselves to have their livelihood and to make their business keep going. But the other half we spend on the Guru's langar. So there was so much milk in the Guru ka langar. But they would make that milk also into kyo as well. They do that themselves as well. They churn it and make into kyo, into butter, and give that into Guru ka langar as well. So there was so much kheer. And kheer was such a famous dish at that time as well. And we've seen the next pankti, the house behind that as well. But this was being served at the time in the Guru's home, this kheer as well. So if you now read this pankti one more time, Hanji.
Langar daulat vandiya.
So Sahaj Singh Ji, we have the Partakh langar. Now if you look at the spiritual langar, when we talk about, when it comes to Guru ka Shabad, the Gurbani, they're saying here ke Sat Sangat Rupi langar. That now there's another type of langar that is being dispensed, another type of kitchen, and that is Sat Sangat Rupi langar. And in that langar, daulat vandiya, what is the wealth that is being given now? Naam di daat. Ke naam rupi tana daulat vandi jari hai, that naam pagati, love and devotion, God's name is being served to all the sangat in the Guru's darbar, in the Guru's court, Hanji.
Ras amrit kheer kyali.
So rasa, amrit, kheer, kyali. What is ras hai? Prem Rupi ras. That the first thing that's been given to the Sangat is Prem. Prem Rupi ras, ras Amrita, Nam Rupi Amrit. That God's name is being served to everybody. Immortality, ras Amrita Kheer. What is the Kheer hai? Bhagati Rupi Kheer. That loving devotion, how to do Bhagati, how to say God's name. Akhana Aukha Sacha now. It's very hard to say God's name and concentrate, and that's why they give us Kyali, which means Gyan Rupi Kyo. To give us divine knowledge on how to say God's name, how to connect, how to experience the one, and then that true knowledge of actually experiencing the one themselves as well. That this is being given out in the Guru's Langar as well. Like we said earlier, Thale vich te vastu payo har amrita pojna naam. Jit khade man tiripati. By eating this langar, this spiritual food, like they say, that when we go to the Guru's home, we feed our stomach, but we also feed our soul as well. We feed this body. When we go in the Guru's langar, the Partak langar, the physical langar, we're feeding this body, but that food is blessed as well. Like we said, the Guru's partake in that food. That is not the Guru's jute, that is the Guru's seat prasad. That is the Guru's blessings. Prasad hai means kirpa, blessings. But also we sit in the Guru's darbar, we're getting that spiritual food as well. And if you eat that, jita khade man tripatiye, then the mind will be completely content. Paye mokh, the one, that person gains that door of liberation, Hanji.
Guru Sikha ke mukh ujjale.
The Sat Singh Ji, those Guru Sikhs who partake in Guru Sahib Ji's Seva, who remember God's name, who follow what we've just said, all this Upadesh we've given, all these teachings from Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji, Guru Sikha ke mukh ujjale. Their faces shine, Hanji.
Manmukh thiye parali.
The Jire Manmukh Han, those Manmukhs who turn their back on Guru Sahib Ji, Manmukha thiye parali. They say thiye hai means that what happens to Hundia hai. Parali means pale. Their faces look very pale. They don't look great like those Guru Sikhs whose faces shine. Even when they leave their bodies, their faces are still shining. They look the complete opposite. So one example of this, a very interesting story. It's a very lovely story actually. It's quite funny at the same time as well. So what happens is there's somebody called a Kheer Khana Sikh. Somebody who just eats kheer all the time. Now I don't know about you guys, but I love kheer as well. I'm sure we all love kheer. Now all this person would do, he came to Siddhi Guru Sahib and he'd only eat kheer, rice pudding in English. He'd eat the kheer and then he'd go to his room and he'd go to sleep. He'd do this every single day. When the announcement came that Guru Ka Langar is ready, that kheer is ready, he'd come down, he'd sit there, eat so much kheer, because there's so much kheer going on, it tastes so beautiful, and then he'd go back to sleep. So what happened this time that many Guru Sikhs, including Baba Buddha Ji, saw this. And at that time, they realized that this person is not doing seva, or they're not doing simran. They're not doing either. They're not sitting in the Guru's court and saying God's name, or they're not doing seva. Now this is not right. We should be doing one of them. So what does Baba Buddha Ji do? Baba Buddha Ji goes to this person and they say, hey Pai, that you should do some seva. Do a bit of seva. Ja darbar sahib vich baith ke kirtan sarvan karo, or sit in the darbar sahib and listen to kirtan. And what does this person say? They say, look, they say, hey Baba Ji, you're just a jat, you're just a farmer. How can I listen to your words? If Guru Angad Dev Ji tells you to do seva, je Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji bachan karange ke seva karo, fir main seva karanga. If the Guru says do seva, then I'll do seva. If the Guru doesn't tell me to do seva, I'm not going to do it. I'm waiting for the Guru to give me an hukam. So Sat Singh Ji, with this being said, Baba Buddha Ji doesn't say anything. Baba Buddha Ji has made that attempt to speak to them, but Baba Buddha Ji carries on with their seva and their simran, and they realize that actually this person is something in their karam that has made them have this right now. Something in their previous actions that led them to think like this at this moment. So Baba Buddha Ji continues. 6 months pass. Not 6 days, not 6 hours. 6 months this person, this Kheer Khana Sikh, this one who eats kheer all the time, for 6 months he eats kheer every day and he just sleeps the rest of the time. So for the armed person in this world, the random person, that sounds like a great life. Right? Just sleep and eat kheer every single day. After 6 months, he wakes up one day hearing that call, and they said that he rubs his eyes, he's so tired, and he comes out of his room, and as soon as he comes out of his room, he sees Guru Angad Dev Ji sitting in the langar hall. So what does he do? He matha takes in Guru Angad Dev Ji's charan in their feet, and then he sits somewhere close to Guru Angad Dev Ji, and Guru Angad Dev Ji looks at this Sikh, and they say to them, who are you? Where have you come from? And they say, Maharaj Ji, I've been here for 6 months. Now Guru Angad Dev Ji doesn't even recognize them. Because where are you going to find the Guru? Where will you find the Sikhs of the Guru? The true Sikhs, the ones who become one with Gurbani. You'll either find them in the langar doing seva. You'll either find them doing seva or doing simran. And this Sikh has not been there. So Maharaji doesn't even recognize them. And they say, what seva do you do? And they go, Maharaji, I don't do any seva. I've been waiting for your hukam. So I've been waiting for 6 months basically, eternally. I've been waiting 6 months for you to tell me to do something. The Guru Angad Dev Ji says that I told you to do something. I told you to do seva. And the Sikh gets confused and goes, Maharaji, I don't know what you're on about. I don't remember you telling me to do seva. But like we said earlier, Ape Gur, Chela hai Ape. They're not just the Guru, they are the servant. Guru Angad Dev Ji is in Baba Buddha Ji. On the tongue of Baba Buddha Ji sits Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaji. So Maharaji said, when I told you as Baba Buddha Ji to do seva, you didn't do the seva. So Maharaji goes, what is going to come of you now? Okay, you only have 24 hours before you die. You're going to leave your body in 24 hours. And now the Sikh starts to panic. Because in his karam, in his life, in his actions, he only had 24 hours left of breaths in his body. And Guru Angad Dev Ji says that you could do seva for 24 hours, you could do simran and seva for 24 hours, but it won't be enough to get you mukti. However, wherever there's a Guru, there's always a way. So Guru Sahib Ji says, if you do this one thing, you'll get mukti. And the Sikh is so desperate, they go, Maharaji, tell me. And Maharaji says, light a chikha. They say, light a funeral pyre. Get all the wood together and light this fire and sit on top of that fire and burn to death and you'll get mukti. Now let's not think why did Guru Sahib Ji say that, but the main point is that if you are mukti, Guru Sahib Ji is saying, you've only got 24 hours, this is the only way you're going to get mukti now. Jinna kiti so mannana. Here they're saying, if you sit on top of that fire, you'll get mukti. So the Sikh at that time, he says Satbachan, and he leaves to go to the forest and to light his fire. And when he's going there, he's not thinking to himself a lot of shardha, a lot of faith that Guru Sahib Ji said, if I do this, I'm going to get mukti. He's thinking, people like Baba Buddha, you know, the Sikhs, they've grasped me up to Guru Angad Dev Ji. And because of them, I'm going to have to die now. So he's not going there with shardha that I'm going to get mukti. He's thinking that these Sikhs set me up. Where there is no shardha, there cannot be no Sikhi. If we lose our shardha, then what is left? Right? We need to, and this is a nimrta to Guru Sahib Ji, we need to have shardha, but it doesn't mean that we gain the shardha ourselves. Only Guru Sahib Ji can give us that shardha. Guru Sahib Ji can take that shardha away from us, but we pray they don't. We pray that whatever they do in our lives, that they only do to make our shardha stronger. But he lost his shardha, so what was left? There was no Sikhi left at that time. So what happened then is that he lights the fire, a massive fire, but he doesn't sit in it. He starts to walk around and contemplating that, look, I'm going to have to burn to death. I've got 24 hours left, 24 hours is running out now. I don't want to, who wants to sit in a fire and burn to death? No one wants to do that. So he's walking on the fire in Parikarma, but whilst this is happening, somebody called Mehra runs past. He's just stolen from a kingdom. He's a chor, he's a thief. And he's got so much wealth on him, so many jewels, so many diamonds. And he's running in this jungle. And he sees this Kheer Khana Sikh, this one who eats kheer. He looks at me, he's thinking, why is this person walking around the fire? He looks like a Sikh to me. Other groups do this type of stuff. They walk around the fire. He's meant to be a Sikh. Why is he walking around this fire for? So he stops in the middle of the jungle and he says to the Sikh, aren't you a Sikh? And they go, yeah. And they go, why are you walking around the fire for? And he explains everything. Now I'm a Sikh of Guru Angad Dev Ji, and Guru Angad Dev Ji told me I have to burn myself in this chikha. Why? Because the Sikhs grasped me up, because all I did was eat kheer all day and sleep all day. So it's the hukam of Guru Angad Dev Ji, the order of Guru Angad Dev Ji. If I sit on this fire and I burn to death, I will get mukti. And what does this person say? Mehra, who we now know as Pai Mehra Ji, who's mentioned in Pai Gurudashi's Vaar as well, in Pai Gurudashi's writings. Pai Mehra Ji says that did Guru Angad Dev Ji say this? Is this Guru Angad Dev Ji's hukam? If you jump in this fire, you're going to get mukti. And they go, Hanji. And then this Pai Mehra Ji says, look, you take all this wealth and let me jump in this fire. You take all this money that will not just take care of your life, but your children and your grandchildren. You take all this wealth and you live such a nice life and let me burn in this fire, because Guru Angad Dev Ji gave a hukam. Guru Angad Dev Ji said that if you jump in this fire, then you'll get mukti. Let's do that. Now this Kheer Khana Sikh says, of course. So what they do at that time is they both face Sri Khadur Sahib and they both do ardas. And by Mera Ji does Ardas ke Mara Ji, let this come upon my head. Let me follow this hukum of yours. I've made so many mistakes in my life. Let me burn in this fire and let this Sikh of yours take all this wealth. Let the current be switched. And that's exactly what happens. So he jumps on the fire and this Kheer Khana Sikh takes all the wealth and he runs away in the jungles. But those soldiers who are chasing by Mera Ji are now chasing him. And when they see him, they think he looks a bit different. But he has all the wealth. So they grab him at that time and they take him and they give him a punishment and they hang him to death. So within those 24 hours, he still dies. Guru Sikha ke mukh ujre man mukha thiye parali. That those ones who turn their back on the Guru, their faces are pale. They look horrible. But those ones who become a Guru Sikh, like we said at the start of Katha, even for one moment, if for one moment we follow your hukum, then we can be saved. And that Kal faste Taihobara. Look how Gurbani links to this story. That Fahi, that noose of death will be cut away because by Mera Ji is meant to be put on that Fahi. He was meant to be hung at that time. But what happened? He remembered the Guru. He followed the Guru's hukum. Jinakiti so mandana. He followed the Guru's hukum. And that noose of death was cut away and is given to the manmuk, is given to the person who ate the kheer all the time. So he passed away now, he died, he was hung to death, as Guru Sahib Ji said, and he didn't get mukti. If he followed the Guru's butcher, he would have got mukti. But he goes even further, because it's written as well, it's called Hindi the Tawarikh, and it's written in there that by Mera Ji, who sat in that fire, he didn't even burn. Not even one hair on his body got burned. He sat in that chekha, he didn't burn, and he ended up going to Guru Angad Dev Ji and asking for the Sikhi. And Guru Sahib Ji said, first give all that stuff you've stolen back to all those people, then you follow the Sikhi. And when he did that, he was given mukti at that moment as well. Paramagati, prapat kiti. He gained that mukti. So, Guru Sikha ke mukh ujle. Right, those Guru Sikhs' faces shine by Mera Ji, tan by Mera Ji. Who would do that? You have all this wealth in front of you. You could escape, but you give it all up just to follow one of the Guru's hukams. How amazing is that, Hanji?
Vae kabul khasamna.
Hanji, puri pankti parlo ji.
Ja kal mardi kali.
They saw those people become kabul, they become accepted in Guru Sahib Ji's court. Tithe sohon panch parvan. Tithe pave uthe us darbar de vich. Those people are so panch parvan. Parvan means kabul here, to be accepted. That in that court, they accepted those people who follow the Guru's hukam, and they say, Ja kal mardi kali. Kali he means mardi kali means sood miyadi kamai. Those ones who earn the righteousness like a warrior. Guru Angad Dev Ji is a true warrior, and those Guru Sikhs are true warriors. Sood miyadi kamai. To have the kamai of a warrior, to work so hard in this life, to fight against all the passions of the world, and to stay in the Guru's charan. Jako har rang lago is jug mein hai, so kahiyat hai sura. Jako, the one who has love for the Guru. Jako har rang lago is jug mein hai. Is jug de vich, is dunya de vich Sahib Sangat Ji, in this age, in this life, Jako har rang, who has love for God. So kahiyat hai sura, that is a true warrior. Why are they true warrior? For? Because they love God. Just the other day I heard a beautiful a conversation where this Guru Sikh went to a saint and they said to that saint that when I do part I can't focus. And what did that saint say to him? He said the reason why you can't focus when you do part is because you don't love God. Which is probably a hard pill to swallow, right? Because our mind doesn't love God, our mind loves the world. That's why the mind doesn't think about God. If you look at a world example, if we love somebody in this world, we're going to be thinking about them all the time. Right? Think about many stories that you read or movies that you watch, and he or she cannot focus. All they think about is her. They're writing her name in a book. Whereas they always think about that person, but when we do part, we're still thinking about the world. But imagine if we made Guru Sahib Ji our Isht, we made them our love, that when we're doing part, we're only thinking about them. When we're writing things in a book, worldly things, we're only thinking about Guru Sahib. We're only writing their name. We're only writing Gurbani all the time. We're always typing their name. We're writing their name in our heart, and here they're saying that person is a true warrior. Atam jine. Atam he means apne aapnu. Ja apne man nu jit lenda hai. They win over their mind. Atam jine sagala vas tak hai. They've controlled their mind. They've controlled all their senses Te Maharaji says ke Jaka Satguru Pura, because they have their true Guru on their side. Their true Guru is with them and they're in love with that Guru. How well those people in this world, and we should be doing their Sangat, because if we do their Sangat, then hopefully we'll gain that love for Guru Sahib Ji as well. Hanji.
Mata ki vi soho soe.
They Sahib Singh Ji, aise tarah, this is the Pati, this is the Pati Parameshwar, this is the husband Lord of Mata Khivi Ji. Mata Khivi Soho Soe. Soho means Shoho, which means Pati. Pati Parameshwar, this is the husband of Mata Khivi Ji. This is our husband Lord. Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj.
Jin goye uthali.
Jin goye means Srishti, Tarti, Sari Tarti. That Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maji uthali, chuk liya. That Guru Angad Dev Ji is holding the whole world up on their head. Guru Angad Dev Ji is supporting the whole world. Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. Uthali also means Udari, Ja Udari, which means that they've come here to save the whole world. That Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji has come to uplift the whole world. Yeah. The world was crying out, Soni Pukar Datar Prabha, Guru Nanak Jag Mai Pathai. The whole world cried out, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji came themselves as Guru Angad Dev Ji, as Guru Nanak Dev Ji as well. God had came as them. When the whole world was crying out, then Guru Nanak Dev Ji came themselves. Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji has come to carry us all across on their boat. On this Naam, this Jahaj of Naam, Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji has come to carry us across. So we come to the end of this Katha. That is the husband of Mata Khivi Ji. That is our husband Lord Tan Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ji. Kripa karo Sache Pashi Maharaj Ji. Ati Mala Baksho Vaheguru Ji da naam. Bless us to me Vaheguru Ji. You are Vaheguru Ji. You are the Guru. Aape Gur. Chella hai aape dasse kaat. You are the destination. Maharaj Ji, let us reach our destination. Let us meet you. Let us become one with you. So in your bente parvan karne Sahib Singh Ji, many mistakes made in the Katha. Please forgive us for all the mistakes. And let's do ardas to Guru Sahib Ji, okay, that we can meet them. So deho sajjan assis sariya, jo hove sahib syo mel.
Pahe kabul khasamnal jan
Kal mardi kali, Mata khivi soh soe, jin goe uthali. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Vaheguru, Vaheguru.